Welcome back to the Cyber Strategix CISSP series. Domain 2 is asset security. It's all about your most valuable asset, data, and how to classify, handle, and protect it from creation to destruction. Let's dig in. Domain 2 is about 10% of the exam. It's smaller than Domain 1, but it's packed with precise definitions, data roles, and lifecycle concepts that show up in tricky questions. Know the vocabulary cold. Here's the map. How to classify data by sensitivity. The roles that define who's responsible for it. The states data lives in and its life cycle, and how to retain and then securely destroy it. Let's go area by area. Classification means labeling data by how sensitive it is, so you can apply the right protection. Governments use levels like top secret, secret, confidential, and unclassified. Commercial organizations use labels like confidential, private, sensitive, and public. The higher the classification, the stronger the controls. Classification is set by the data owner, based on impact if the data is exposed. Data exists in 3 states, and each needs protection. At rest, it's stored on a disk or in a database. Protect it with encryption. In transit, it's moving across a network. Protect it with TLS or a VPN. In use, it's loaded in memory and being processed, the hardest to protect, addressed by techniques like memory protection and emerging confidential computing. Several roles share responsibility. The data owner, usually a senior business leader, is accountable and sets the classification. The custodian, often IT, implements and maintains the protective controls day to day. The steward focuses on data quality and appropriate use, and users simply follow the rules. The exam loves to test who does what. Owner sets, custodian protects. Under privacy laws like GDPR, 2 roles matter. The data controller decides why and how personal data is processed. They hold the responsibility. The data processor acts on the controller's instructions, like a cloud provider running the systems. Knowing the difference is essential for privacy and compliance questions. Think of data as having a life cycle. It's created, stored, used, shared, archived, and eventually destroyed. Security has to follow it through every stage. Retention policy defines how long you keep data, kept long enough to satisfy legal and business needs, but not so long that you're hoarding risk. The principle is, don't keep what you don't need. When data's life ends, sanitize it properly. Clearing overwrites data so it can't be recovered by normal means. Fine for reuse inside the organization. Purging is stronger, like degaussing or secure erase, making data safe even when media leaves the organization. Destruction physically shreds, incinerates, or pulverizes the media. The right method depends on the data's classification. Here's a concept the exam loves: data remanence. When you delete a file or even format a drive, the underlying data often remains and can be recovered. Those leftover traces are data remanence. It's exactly why proper clearing, purging, or destruction matters, and why selling or recycling old drives without sanitizing them is so dangerous. To apply controls consistently, start with a baseline, a minimum agreed set of controls for a given classification. Then scope it, removing controls that simply don't apply to your environment. Then tailor it, adjusting the rest to fit your specific needs. Baseline, scope, tailor. That sequence turns a one-size-fits-all standard into something that actually fits your organization. Finally, the controls that actually protect data. Encryption is the workhorse, securing data at rest and in transit. Data loss prevention, or DLP, watches for sensitive data leaving the organization and blocks it. And labeling plus handling procedures make sure people mark, store, and share data according to its classification. Match the strength of the control to the sensitivity of the data. Lock in these essentials. Classification is set by the data owner. Data has 3 states: at rest, in transit, and in use. Owner sets policy, custodian implements, steward governs quality, the controller decides, and the processor acts on instructions. know clearing versus purging versus destruction, and understand data remanence, why a simple delete is never enough. The big idea of Domain 2 is simple: protect data across its entire life, from the moment it's created to the day it's securely destroyed. Classify it, assign clear responsibility, secure it in every state, and dispose of it properly. Do that, and your most valuable asset stays protected. That's Domain 2. Subscribe to Cyber Strategix to keep the series going. Next up is Domain 3, Security Architecture and Engineering.